Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Friday Night Free for All, brought to you by the Gorilla Position Network, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. This week wasn't really that interesting as far as pro wrestling went. Any free agency news. Some cool things were dropped out there. Some ongoings are upcoming. And more or less, that's what we're going to talk about this evening. And as always, I'd like to bring in the boys. First and foremost, let me bring in Mr. AJP himself, live from his couch in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. AJP, how are you this evening?
All right, the weather's kind of getting bad, but I'm doing okay.
Yep, weather's bad here too, as well. And a veteran in more shapes and/or one, just like myself and Pelly. Mr. APOC himself, the man with the beautiful Christmas lights above his head. I love what it brings.
It's better than nothing, right?
I like the Christmas lights. So I'm hoping that the Gazoo and the King. Oh, and here he is, live from Connecticut. The one and only producer of the Jason Rumble shows, Mr. Mickey Biggs.
What's going on, guys?
How we doing, brother? How are you doing? That is the question.
Yeah,
Feeling
brother,
much
been
better.
praying
Much
for you,
better.
Mickey.
Appreciate that. Feeling much better. Thank you.
So I wouldn't say that we have a lot to talk about this week, but you know, the
I
wrestling
got a,
world.
I got a few things to talk about.
All right, go on. Open the floor.
All right, so hear me out on this because I'm going to be a conspiracy theory on this one.
Okay.
So we all know that the forbidden door is about to be broken at the Royal Rumble, correct?
All right, let's go. I love talking about it.
What if it's actually an AEW wrestler, if not one but two?
Mike, you bring up valid points a lot. Like I forget who I was talking to today. Oh, I was talking to the king himself, the dog king, Jimmy Fingers, and I ran this by him. I seen a meme on the internet, and I'm probably guaranteeing you've seen this one too, Mike. And it
Moxley?
said, "Wouldn't it be a no? Wouldn't it be a kick in the nuts?" Okay, if CM Punk comes, wins the Royal Rumble, and gets his WrestleMania moment.
Well,
Well,
go
go ahead.
ahead, Pelly.
Go ahead, Belly.
Well, a couple of years ago, you might have saw this post too when Tony Khan, when WWE went to Jacksonville, and Tony Khan was there, and he gave a sweater to Titus O'Neil. So that means Tony Khan has had a relationship with WWE for many years.
So, I'm glad that he said that because what if this whole AEW WWE thing is one big work? And we've talked about this before, but the more I look at it, the more I look I look at certain things. What if Moxley shows up in the Royal Rumble? What if Jericho shows up?
That was the big one right there, Mike, was Jericho.
I
Because
honestly
he's
think
already been on the podcast with Stone Cold, you know?
I honestly think I to be perfectly honest with you, because of what's going on right now with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose or Moxley shows up the Royal Rumble. Not going to say none of them are going to win it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
if that forbidden door gets kicked in, you could see an interpromotional pay per view down the road.
Yeah, well, we were just talking about Punk. He got his butt served to him this week, so he should be coming back on TV for at least a month. So why doesn't he just return at the Royal Rumble?
Well,
I-
he's under contract with AEW. I'm not. What I'm saying is that WWE. There was a report out. I forgot who it was from. I think it was from Meltzer, which I don't really hold that much weight to
yeah,
it.
yeah, I get you.
But, that the WWE and AEW were in talks on a project. What if it could be an invasion angle?
Yeah.
What could it be if it's a joint pay-per-view? Finally giving the fans what they want. Now, there's another thing I want to touch on is the way Bray Wyatt situation. Did you watch Mickey Biggs? Did you watch all 6 videos?
Yes, I did.
I'll touch on that too because I did a little investigating.
So did I. I don't think it's fan made. I think it's made by him. And I think he's severely screwing with the fans. And he's going to show up at the Royal Rumble in that new mask, that clown mask.
That scarecrow mask thing?
Yeah. Because
Yep.
why would, like Jay said in an earlier post, if he's using WWE footage, he's actually shitting on the WWE. But again, it could be all one big giant swerve. And this is what he's going with a new gimmick.
Well, I do know that at the end of one of those, like there's a flash of WrestleFest poster.
Bunny in the elevator 2222,
which is
February 2nd. It's a Wednesday night. I get that.
Yep. But again, that could be the Forbidden Door. That could be the project that they were talking about. That could be him just messing with the fans.
Right. John Silver was on a podcast from the Dark Order and said, in no way, shape, or form is Bray Wyatt coming into AEW. He shot those rumors down in 2 seconds. Again, take it for a grain of salt.
He could be working.
Yeah.
No, I know that.
Yep, go on.
I like the new videos. It would fit in AEW more than it would fit in WWE, to be honest with you. But again, Aleister Black's doing the same kind of gimmick. So does he join the House of Black? I don't see him being a lackey.
No.
Or is he the leader of the Briscoes?
That's an interesting twist.
That's why I wish me and Forbesy went in depth a little today.
I
got some real good beef for the stew, bro. I got some real once we get into this.
Like the new Wyatt family.
Well, go, Mike. Go.
It's a good avenue. I just don't see the Briscoes fitting with him.
Oh, not the Fiend look, Mike.
No, but even what he's doing now,
screw the mask, just picture the braids, and he kicks it more of a rough country dude that he realistically is,
right.
And it fits with the Brit. Just my honest opinion, I think it fits hand in hand with the leader of the Briscoes.
No,
because they got that demonic country boy, but
But they're not country boys. They're from New Jersey.
No, see, that's where people are wrong. They're actually from Delaware.
Same. All right. Okay. They're 500 miles away from New Jersey. Come on. Really?
The three of them together would be a lot like the House of 1,000 Corpses.
It would be. Yeah, it would be.
I just try to throw things out there because my honest belief, and I said this.
There's so many avenues that they could go right now.
I
still say he's showing up at the Rumble.
Yeah. I mean, that's.
I wouldn't doubt it. I would not doubt it.
We'll find out in 3 weeks.
I think of it this way: pro wrestling nowadays, to keep legit kayfabe,
it's hard.
Exactly. Hard. Okay. So now, what if these videos were created to look man-made and not by by Bray or by the WWE, but a person that has professional tools that, quote unquote, works for the WWE, but to us, the person, it just looks like a you or a me with high-tech equipment building this stuff just to throw people off.
Well, did you guys happen to watch the one video?
Just let me finish it at this. When the Hardys had to come back to the WWE, the boys and the backstage, all except for one person backstage, knew that the Hardys were coming back, other than Vince, Stephanie, and Triple H. So it's proven that kayfabe can't even be upheld in that type of situation. So what if, I'm just saying, I know this is throwing
Shit at the wall.
cement wall, yes, but what if it's just something to throw people off because we already know too much?
Well, again, like that's what I'm saying. Like I watched and rewatched and watched those videos over and over again.
Yep.
And there's a lot of
There
WWE
is.
stuff in it. Like to the point where if Vince saw those videos, he would get a cease and desist.
They
or
should
he
be
would
pulled down
sued.
off of YouTube automatically.
Exactly.
Because
So
if we use copywritten music, it should
Yep.
be basically
Yep.
to a certain extent the same thing.
I agree. So I mean, again, if you as a mark or as a fan and you watch those videos to be like, damn it, he's going to AEW. But else as being in the business and looking at it, I'm like, no, he's going back to WWE.
Yep,
He's
I
going to be
agree.
he is going to be the anarchist of the WWE. He is going to be what Retribution was supposed to be.
I think if it's going to work, it's going to have to be the old Bray Wyatt, the same music, Royal Rumble hits, the music hits.
No, what he's doing
The
right
gimmick
now
has to evolve.
Yeah.
It has to evolve.
And
It can't digress.
and
I
let me tell you
disagree. It
something.
can't go backwards.
Let me tell you something. What he's doing right now, you know who would fit perfect with him is Joe Casey.
Yes. He
100%.
can't go back to that country dude in a rocking chair.
No.
I agree.
That's just me. I like that. If it doesn't work,
Yeah.
it won't. But I like that. I like that gimmick even better than the Fiend.
Buddy, I agree. I agree, but you can't digress. You can't go backwards.
No.
Just to prove your
Unfortunately,
point.
that's what he was given.
Exactly.
It was just as viable. Now listen, when Kane took the mask off, it was cool for a little, but even Kane had to go back to the mask and put a wig in it so that the fans would buy that that's who Kane was.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
I like. You're right, but if he could like somehow morph the Fiend into the old Bray Wyatt somehow.
Listen, Capelli said this 1,073 times. Foley had the faces. Why couldn't Bray have obtained the same style of gimmick? I totally agree.
Yeah.
I'm not going to disagree with you. I love the rocking chair Bray with the Sister Abigail and the beard. I loved when he was doing the gimmick and wore like the Bushes looking thing when he was with Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have loved all the faces of Bray Wyatt.
Dude, if he could morph that all together in one, that'd be beautiful.
So here's a thought. If just let's hypothetically saying, okay, Bray is coming back to WWE for Rumble, do you think that what's her name? Alexa Bliss is going to have anything to do with him at all?
Well, she's still doing the stupid crazy gimmick, which kind of irritates me. She was off TV enough time to be.
So, my buddy Richard Oppen, if he had logged in right, he's the Facebook user. Richard just right there writes, James Forbes source says it's Barry Horowitz.
She was off TV. She was off TV enough time to go back to being just a regular Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, but she's not planning on it.
What?
She's not planning on it. But the regular Alexa Bliss.
I understand that, but they should have gotten rid of that gimmick.
I agree. That's why I'm saying, because they didn't get rid of it. Do you think she's going to have something to do with that?
Maybe.
Return of Bray Wyatt.
Maybe. I mean, he should come back and take that from her, to be honest with you.
Oh, so it sucks back his powers.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to follow storyline and you're going to go long term, then he should come back and take it back from her. He gave it to her.
Yep. Agreed.
Exactly.
Agreed.
See, one of the videos was about the Undertaker passing the torch to him.
Yep.
So, what are you laughing at, Jay?
We have the source.
With no picture, tard.
Oh. Hold on. I am the source.
Hello, Mr. Barry Horowitz.
Hey,
You
Miss
are,
Mary Horowitz.
you are the clown.
wait.
Oh man.
So, can we get the wrestling this week? And I'd like to put this out there.
Yeah,
After
go
watching
to it.
wrestling this
You're
week-
part of the show.
What?
I said you're part of the show. Open your mouth.
So after watching, I watched Raw, NXT, and AEW, and to me, I think one of the better heels right now, maybe women by far, but even with men, probably the better heels in the business right now is Serena Deeb.
Agreed.
Yeah,
I love
you
the
see
new
that-
shirt that she has.
I didn't catch that.
The heat she put on that Hikaru or whatever her name is this
Yep.
week was probably one of the best heats I've seen on television in a long time.
I did like the Brody King debut.
Okay.
Did you see any of that?
I did not see Dynamite. I did post the CM Punk must have loved him some Bret Hart back in the day, but
Yeah, because that
then
match is identical.
yes,
Jesus
except for the 9 power bombs.
And that's what bothered me about that entire match is the fact that
Okay.
he gave him 9
That's
damn
bothering-
power bombs and he got up and walked out. Come on now.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
I said before, he shouldn't be seen for a month, 2 months on television after taking that beating.
Yeah, unfortunately he's CM Super Punk.
He's getting old fast, dude. It's getting monotonous with him. It really is.
That's why problem with him especially if he was the proverbial door opener.
You know what? He would get a bigger pop than when he came back.
Yep.
Guarantee it. If his music hit at Royal Rumble, the place would explode.
Oh God.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
It
The marks
definitely-
on the marks on the internet, including Forbes, would be going like this all the time. All day.
He's probably already wore his palm out from today,
I know. Right?
going home with a little bit of Jergens and some Kleenex for Scarlett Bordeaux.
Pulling his little jerkin.
Yeah. He's jerking with some Jergens.
Oh my God, you guys are awful.
So, the big thing that we had on the show this week, or not even show, but we talked about, I'm really not going to get long into it, but we might as well, is the source. We might as well talk about the elephant in the room. And
You go ahead, Jay, and then I'll
Yep.
give my
I-
thoughts on it.
I understand at times that Forbes tries to get our feathers ruffled. And I believe when he told me in a private conversation that it was not, he shouldn't have put source. He should have put my inner feeling tells me, or my gut. And that was good enough for me. So I totally understand that. If you have a legit source, it's nice for the source to be known, and that's how we should keep it. If we believe otherwise, then we prove it. Other than that, when I put up a post from Dirt Sheet Radio or We Love to Wrestle, I don't believe that stuff is 100% written in cement. I just believe it's a cool topic to talk about, or it's something to get into. If we could get a person that legitimately would come on the show and give us 99.9% backing on some of our theories, that proves us right. That's all I'm saying. I just believe that we should keep the word source as far as us, unless we got a good, unless we could write a name down. We should just keep it as a what do you call it? We could just keep it at that, and that way nobody gets butt hurt no more, and we just have topic of discussion. and it makes everything look a little bit more saner.
See, my whole thing about it is that you're trying to make this a legit podcast. I'm on board. Nikki Biggs is on board. Pelly's on board. I do believe Pelly's on board. And sometimes I believe Forbes is on board. But when he starts pulling that crap, and then he's got his little minions running their mouths on the gorilla position, it's irritating. It
Yeah.
makes us look like a joke. Yes,
Yeah.
granted, it's a closed group, but it still makes us look like a joke. Like, you know, like you said, if James says, I think this is going to happen, or I believe this is going to happen, or blah, 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 instead of saying my source is saying that all these people are going to get caught after WrestleMania, dude, it holds no water. And it makes you look like a freaking clown. I'm sorry. It really does. Like, that list that he put out's half the roster. They're going to cut half the roster. Come on.
I to his defense, it was called. Hold up one second. It was called the High Lit List, a lit list, and it wasn't. I seen it. I should have posted it because I seen it on. I believe either Dirt Sheet or one of the other ones that I go to. That it was high alert list, and it was basically the people he named, and the high alert was look for these people to be cut before and or after WrestleMania.
Yep, and I
Well,
saw the same thing. On
I seen the same thing. So I think he's what I would have did, and this is what I do is I hit share, and then I put that up there, and I put what do you all think, or Cena can't see you. Like I try to put the legit headline up there so people don't go, oh, he just read it and put his own words up there. That's
right.
all. I think if he had put that, like,
I get it, but it's just, it's breaking balls is one thing, but then when you start doing that,
he does
shit,
not run NXT.
Okay, Capelli. Unfortunately, so let's touch on that, you clown, because you're wrong. Because I
You're a
talked to
fucking
Carmelo
idiot.
Hills. You're an idiot. You're a fucking
You're an idiot
moron.
because you talk about, you know what? I'm gonna hit the fucking button right now. You talk about credibility.
Let's go. All knowing
You got
Capelli about
somebody-
wrestling.
You talk about credibility. We talk about having a credible site, credible podcast, and everything. But
Yep.
every time somebody puts something up that you don't like, you call them a fucking clown. You say clown, 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 clown. Like, no one's gonna want to post on a site if you're constantly fucking bullying people and calling
I'm not
them
bullying
clowns
anybody.
because they don't agree with what you say, or they say something. Listen, I get the fact what James did, the whole putting it up, the way he put it up, whatever. But sometimes he puts stuff up and he has fucking thing, and every time it's always you're a clown, you're a clown, you're a clown. The only person
Percent of the time he's wrong.
on here is probably Jay. So I mean, it's like
Jay's a clown too. How about that?
There we go. The fact remains, fucking, I will say it again. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And I said to you, me and you went back and forth, and I said flat out, it's rather odd that you come out and say, and I'm just saying, you say you spoke to your source. I don't deny that, but I'm telling you that when you have multiple credible sites, these aren't fucking like Jim Bob, the fucking wrestling mock website.
All right. So what credible sites?
Wrestling mock website saying it. Okay. You got some of the biggest wrestling pages and some of the biggest reporters out there reporting it, saying that Bruce Pritchard, the woman that Jay mentioned, are pretty much the people running NXT. That no script is approved until Bruce approves it. Now, if you sat there and told me Shawn Michaels is running the back and Shawn Michaels is running the crew and the agents, that's a different situation, Mike, than Shawn Michaels runs NXT. Because everything is saying Vince and Bruce came in, took it over, did their thing. Bruce is the guy who approves every script before it goes out with this woman, whoever the fuck her name is, Christine something. And so many sources out there, reputable sources, have said the same thing. So how can all these other sources be inaccurate when, it's like again, they're not the Jim Bob. They're not the Jim Bobs. They're not the fucking Joe Blows or the marks you see that fucking go crazy. And you're like, who's this guy and who does he know? And they don't know anybody. That's the point. And then you're out here calling people clowns, this, that, idiot. And it's like, dude, it's like, none of this site will never be reputable if people are going to get called names because they're disagreeing, or if they're showing, okay, here is, and Forbesy did it. He showed the data of a very credible site that said it. And the site is a credible site. It's not like it's an incredible site. So you really can't call him a clown and call him this and call him that.
What site did he show? Because if it's Dirt Sheet Radio, they have no credibility whatsoever.
The Dirt Sheet does have credibility. They're
No, they don't.
90% accurate. He's
Okay.
90%
Yep, I
accurate.
believe that too. Dirt Sheet Radio is one of the most accurate ones I look at.
Do you see this is what I mean? But he's one of the most accurate sites out there. I would say 90%. He definitively has inside information. Fright. What is it?
Fightful.
Fightful's credible.
That's one of the other ones I take stuff from.
Same thing.
And can I tell you, Fightful and the other one that we mentioned, almost all of them fall in line within hours if you look at them. One will post a different picture with the same article, but they all start to fall in line within minutes. But yes, Fightful's a good one I like, and I always go to, when I want to find out information, I'm not lying, I go to Dirt Sheet. I punch that up, and usually what I know or the rumor that we spread is right there.
And I would honestly say that nobody on here has ever spread a rumor, or I don't say spread a rumor, has put out information that wasn't already kind of out there. Like I said, it takes 5 minutes to research on the internet to figure out, to find credible shit to say, okay, here's who's reporting it. Same thing. And like I said, if the common denominator, to me, the common denominator is X, and that common denominator for me is Bruce Pritchard is in charge of all scripts. Pretty much, it will dictates and runs NXT. Then to me, that's okay. Bruce Pritchard, Vince, whatever, everything that we've heard for the last 5 months is true. Now, if that means that Shawn Michaels probably runs the agents, because I know Shawn's still involved, but that doesn't mean he runs NXT. That means he runs the agents, or that he runs the back, or the guys, go to him and say, I want to do this move and whatever. We don't know. We're not there, but I believe that Forbesy posted it, and I stand by what Forbesy said. Just like that whole the high alert list. You look at the names on it, and I said this to Jay. You look at the names on it. I would agree with most of the names on it.
Ricochet's one that they'll, but if they let Ricochet go, that'll be one of the worst mistakes he ever makes in his life. I will say that.
I agree Chad Gable too. They couldn't let go of those two, I don't think.
They
just won the titles,
falls in line with Vince's new direction that he's gone in the last 2 years, which also falls in line with something that we reported, and I know I did, in stuff that we've read, that the new motto is every 6 months you're going to see turnover, and it's in and out, in and out, in and out. And the guys that aren't selling, or the guys that aren't getting promoted, or the women, they're going to be on the chopping block. And I hate to say it, Ricochet's, unfortunately, he's not getting the right push. He'd be better off going. He'd be hopeful to go somewhere else. But the point is, I know what Forbesy did in that aspect pissed people off with the quote unquote source. But you got to admit, most of the names on there, you'd be like, yeah, I kind of agree.
I believe my friend Richard Oppen. This is him right here. My friend Richard is big in the world of wrestling, huge. And this is one of the guys, that I invited him on. He talked with me, and I believe this very much.
Re-signing is one thing. Being released is another, though. I mean, they had just signed, within what?
But then again, there are certain contracts that the Boyz do sign that have release provisions in them, Capelli.
I would I would imagine like it's a minimum of a year. I mean, that's like like a hockey contract with Linus Ullmark, right? They signed him for a 5-year deal. He has a legitimate. He cannot get moved. He cannot get traded for the first 2 years. After that, then he has a limited no movement clause. Yep. There's been a lot of talk about now that they got Tuukka back. Not to bring up hockey, but now they got Tuukka back. Oh, let's trade Ullmark. You can't trade Ullmark.
Can't.
When a trade happens, usually there's a provision that you can't be traded in the first year or two. I would assume most wrestling talent, would have that kind of a, you got to guarantee me at least a year or two before you can, let me go.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. I mean, that's like if I was working a job that was a contractual, I'm my provision. If I left my job now and someplace tried to bring me in, I'm telling them flat out, you got to guarantee me 2 years. 2-year guarantee. I mean, I don't know, but being released is completely different than being re-signed. We're talking about them releasing people, and I agree.
Furlough. I think furlough is the word you're looking for. Furlough.
Furlough is different though. Furlough means you'll let go, but you can be brought back. Like right. You're not. You're let go, but you're not let go. When you're furloughed, you're like, go home. You're not getting paid, but you're not out of your contract either. But they can bring you back.
That's what they did with Sarah Stock when she was worked at the Performance Center. They furloughed her, then they let her go.
So letting them go means you're out, you're done, you're out of your contract. Whatever provisions you have, you have. When you're furloughed, it's different. You're still kind of you're let go. You're told to go home. A lot of people got furloughed during the pandemic. You were told to go home, but you were expected you would be brought back to work at some point.
I texted Richard and I go, "Hey, Rich, can you give us a name?"
Well, Mike reported one, and he's right. He just said it. I heard the same thing. Finn Balor re-signed.
Yes,
I've heard the same thing that Finn Balor has re-signed. I read it. I heard it. I believe it.
It was just recently. It was just recently too.
I believe Finn Balor is one of the people that worked Richard's convention. And if you do know the story about Finn Balor, if I'll tell it right here, if Mark Moment and Sonny Roselli were here, his first booking after the NWA convention in the United States was all because of me, because he gave me his DVD. I told him right to his face I could never afford to book him. And I gave that DVD to Sheldon Goldberg.
Yeah, I know that story. I remember that.
So, yes. Did any of you guys get to read into the John Cena thing that I put up today about Cena talking about the releases?
Yeah,
no.
I like how he's talking about.
Give it a read.
There was competition inside the locker room when he was talking about.
Yep.
He wanted to. He said he had to actually fight to get where he was when he started. And I thought that was pretty cool. Like, there's not only competition between brands, but there was a competition back in the WWE, so you could get your spot. And I guess the way he was talking about, he really worked for it, like trying to get his push and stuff like that. So.
He wasn't surprised about the releases because there hasn't been competition in years or other product for people to work at. And Vince has had these people tied up for so long that if there was competition before, Vince wouldn't have locked all these people up. So he's not surprised this happened. He's not surprised at all that any of this has happened.
He doesn't watch it, he said, though. He doesn't watch
though, I think we could all agree that the last true batch, I would say, of competition was probably when like the Shield came up, and you have those three guys, along with maybe I really can't even think of like a group. Like when you gotta think when Cena came in, look who he came with. It was him, Brock, Orton,
Batista.
Batista.
The story has it that
Batista.
when he was exactly told that, listen, you're going out there against Kurt Angle, you're gonna sink or you're gonna swim, and that was it.
The business, the talent was different. That's what I guess what I'm getting at is, other than that, I can't think of a group of guys kind of breaking into the business at one time and having a locker room as talented as what they broke into. Look at who was the big when the Shield broke in. I hate to say it, but it was CM Punk, it was The Miz, it was. Cena was at the end of his career, kind of.
Cena ain't done. That's another thing he put in his article.
That's not what I'm getting at. But Cena's at the end of his career.
Oh yeah.
Like, what I'm saying is like when Cena broke in, and those guys, you had Angle, Austin, Rock, Triple H, Undertaker. I mean, you had a fucking litany of Hall of Fame superstars. Now, at this time, you really only had Randy Orton. Think of the name like Orton, yes, but then you look at who else did we have? You had CM Punk, good. It's CM Punk, The Miz. You were relying on guys like Dolph Ziggler and other guys that were there, kind of established. And you're looking at it and you're going, it ain't the same level, I guess, of competition internally that those guys. And now what is there now? Look at it now. What is there? It's Roman Reigns, and it's Seth Rollins, AJ Styles maybe, and Randy Orton. And that's all that people are competing against.
Is Ziggler still running? Is Ziggler still working on a handshake agreement? Did he sign a contract?
Who?
Ziggler. I heard that he had finally signed a deal a couple years back.
Okay, because for a while he was working on a handshake deal.
And the reason why he was working on the handshake deal is because he was really trying to go forward with all the steam of being a comedian.
Yeah. I caught his act when he was at the Kowloon. He's actually pretty fucking funny. I'm not going to lie. He had me in stitches. He had me in stitches that night up at the thing upstairs. He was pretty funny. But, kind of piggybacking on what Forbes did put up, I wouldn't be shocked with some of those names, to be honest with you. Bobby Roode, what's he doing?
No, I can see.
Solid talent, man. Too bad.
That's what I'm saying. It's just, I can see Rhea Ripley being let go. Wasted talent, unfortunately. Nikki Ash, I know they're doing stuff with her, but I can see her getting let go.
Yeah, if Bobby Roode got let go, he'd be right. If Bobby Roode got let go, he'd be right back in TNA and he'd be a champion.
Oh yeah, he'd be right back with Impact.
Absolutely. I still think you're going to see Samoa Joe in TNA. My feeling is you see him in TNA, and somehow he's at the Royal Rumble representing TNA.
Yeah.
Who knows? But
we were talking earlier about the Forbidden Door. If you had someone from AEW to pick, who would you pick if AEW was to kick down the door?
It's easy. It's one of two people. It's either Chris Jericho or MJF. That would have Jericho because of his relationship with Vince and his relationship with the WWE and the fact that they've kind of already, and I think you guys would all agree, they've already broken that door down with the Stone Cold podcast. But MJF would be the person who I think that would have the biggest bang a buck because he's teased it already. Like the biggest free agent in 2024. But think about it. That would be awesome.
Another good one that MJF posted it himself. He said that for his money, he'd like to see CM Punk kick the Forbidden Door open, win the Royal Rumble, and get his WrestleMania moment.
I don't think you'd ever see it, though.
I
think
listen.
the fans would go nuts.
Yes.
But I just don't think you'd see it. I just don't think you'd see it. It'd be awesome. Yeah, Cody would get a good response, too, I think. Not as big as CM Punk, though.
No, CM Punk, the roof would come off in St. Louis.
Did you guys see the report of the upcoming contracts that are coming up for AEW?
One I heard was Wardlow, and he already said that he is AEW for life.
Did I read Britt Baker? I mean, I don't see them not re-signing. I do see them re-signing, but I think I saw Britt Baker and Adam Page's contracts are both up soon.
Yep. Page is up at the
either one of them make a change.
So I know you guys are gonna think I'm crazy, but I believe if done right, Hangman Adam Page is the next Shawn Michaels.
I agree with that.
I agree with that too.
I think if anybody, it would be him that would jump ship.
I think so too, Mike.
I believe he's the next Shawn Michaels. His look, the whole 9 yards. I believe, Hangman Adam Page to me is without a doubt. I wouldn't even let his contract come up. For even anybody to know without throwing big bucks at him, they're crazy.
He just said he sent a promo there Wednesday night that he turned down six-figure contract to build AEW. Why wouldn't he if they called him up? Hey, we got 7 figures. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I'd like to see the Hangman. I would love to see Hangman Adam Page in the WWE ring. It's kind of disappointing that Wardlow, if that is his words that came out. Come on, bruh. I'm backstage. Where? I can't see you. Oh, here you are. There he is. Mike's beard dye supplier.
Unfortunately, I don't dye my beard, you fucking clown.
No, but Tommaso Ciampa does.
Holy shit, that shit's dark.
Shit, does he?
That is
Look at it's the pink hat.
I don't with the great Kazoo here. I don't even need to say a word.
Oh yeah, because you got nothing to say. That's why.
Thank you.
I just want
Bozo and Kazoo.
Put the hand out, Capella. Let him kiss the ring.
Yeah, the ring on his ass.
Hold on. Kiss the ring.
It looks like he's getting ready to blow him now.
Oh,
the Messiah of Truth.
Yeah. Okay.
So I got a great thing that we can throw out there, and let me just throw it up at you. I had said this earlier to Forbes, and I had said, what if the WWE and AEW, or especially AEW, had said, we're just going to tour once a month, but keep a solid base in Jacksonville like they did, so that way they were able to provide a better show for a Wednesday, a better show for especially a Friday when it's not taped. And then in between on a Thursday and or a Saturday, they would be able to drop 2 more shows in and sell what they would deem a super ticket. People go to Disney World. People go to Sky World. They go to Six Flags. Why couldn't people right now, it's proven, people go to the Performance Center, go to NXT to watch NXT. Why couldn't a wrestling company per se create and cultivate a building with good enough action that the fans would be willing to come and see? Like, what if Vince had torn the roof off of the the performance center where they have that housed, turn that into a 4,000 to 5,000 seat venue, and every product they have, but you just changed a little bit of lighting in the stage to make different ambiances. And then once a month, which they go out on a pay-per-view, they do a super show weekend, and then the Sunday would be a pay-per-view. What would you think
I
about
like that Rumble. I like
Do you
that
think-
Rumble, but as we've seen in the last couple of weeks, like AEW didn't draw, WWE's not drawn. But if you did that, host, that Walt Disney host, you would have that original, like, current draw that you get all the time, pretty much. You would have
Well,
that fan base, and you'd have more, and you would have people traveling in too from, like, when this COVID stuff stops around the world, and they would come for like a vacation to this arena. I like the idea, but I think it's better than what they're doing now, going to all these towns, because in some of these towns they're not drawn.
We
Yeah.
have more,
That's a
we
better
have more
idea.
hairs on our head than there was at Dynamite. There was people.
That's
I disagree.
I guess.
I think. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think Rumble, that's a better idea. I don't know. I'm a little conflicted. Like, I like seeing the wrestling on the road and going from town to town to get, like, so people can watch it in their hometown, like, so people don't have to go far. But these last couple of weeks, I mean, like, even Raw hasn't been drawn like it's supposed to. And AEW, what was it, last week or this week? They didn't draw like half the hosts. It was like they didn't even draw on the floor. So I don't know.
I like how Richard puts this up for us. TNA tried that at Universal, had to give free tickets and still had trouble filling it. I know. I was there. I was backstage on some of those dark matches. I know. I know.
So,
but let me
think
just finish real quick. Let me finish real quick, and I'll give it to you. The only reason why I say that is because AEW was able to keep a sort of stable crowd during the pandemic. And they struggle now with doing a really good product for Friday night, knowing it's taped. Myself, and this is no knock towards TNA. I think just TNA got off to a bad start in a lot of wrestling fans' mouths and minds, and nobody ever gave it a second chance. And by that time of them, after them leaving the asylum in Tennessee, nobody really gave a crap that they went to Universal. You know?
All right. So I understand it from what would be a simplistic concept, but it's bad for, I'm going to say it's bad for business, because Disney World, people are traveling to Orlando, Florida to go to Disney World.
Yeah.
All over the world. Disney World's an attraction that it appeals to everybody. There probably is. I mean, any one of us on the panel, even if you're not a fan of Disney, your kids were, and you're taking your kids. No, I can tell you right now, nobody is going to get on a plane and fly down to Florida to see a wrestling show.
Yeah, but
I seem to disagree. I see plenty of people during this on my Facebook feed that were like, we just went down to Jacksonville and enjoyed 3 days and had a great time at the AEW. Can't wait to do it again. So,
fans,
hold on, Kelly. Let him finish.
Those are wrestling fans that are going to do that. We're talking to a broader stage, because, like, Mike and me may hook up, and Forbesy may go, let's go to the show at the Garden. We'll take our kids, right?
Yeah.
We can hop up, pay $30 a ticket, $50 a ticket, whatever the fuck the ticket costs are now, right? And go take our kids. The average person who's not a wrestling fan, who doesn't like wrestling, whose kid may love it, ain't going to take their kid down to Florida, spend $1,000 to go down there, plane ticket and airfare, and then go down there to watch one wrestling show. I'm
not saying it would be one. I would sell a super ticket.
I'm saying that person
Yep.
It's one show, right? It's
Yeah,
one show for that person to vacation and go down, right? And then you're only appealing to 4,000 or 5,000 people when you are a multi-billion-dollar business. Now I'm using WWE. I'm not saying AEW. We're talking WWE. WWE, that is a very bad business model for a multi-billion-dollar company.
Yeah, I can
to
see
say,
that.
We're not going to do that. We're going to go to a 4,000 or 5,000 seat venue. We're just going to fit this, and that's it. And once a month, we're going to do a pay-per-view. Where there's still
the pay-per-view would be, but what if the pay-per-view was like a live Friday night SmackDown, a Saturday night
pay-per-view.
What?
That's not pay-per-view.
Hold on. It would be a super ticket. And it would lead into a road. It would lead, hear me out. It would lead into a road SmackDown. It would lead into a live NXT. Then it would give you the pay-per-view, and you get the Monday Night Raw feeding after the pay-per-view.
Yeah. But the point is a pay-per-view is they still sell pay-per-view even to people who don't have the Peacock network.
Yeah, I get you. I get you.
And you're still, why are you going to limit yourself to one location? Because I'm going to tell you right now, it may be good for 2 or 3 months, but that's going to dry up very quickly.
Listen,
spread it out. If you don't spread it out, your product dries up.
I thought it was a good model in a way for AEW to try to follow.
So,
go ahead, Pelly. Go ahead.
So for me, in business and all business, it's location, location, location. So say whatever it is, AEW, WWE, like WWE, if you travel the globe, they go to England, they're selling out stadiums. So if you had a great location in Florida, one day you go to this wrestling show. The next day you go to Disney. Like you make a week out of it. Not necessarily it'd be wrestling, but you can go to these other theme parks as well, right?
I think that was the Universal thing back with TNA.
Yeah. But can I tell you, families when they go to Disney World, they're at Disney for a week. Mike.
Oh yeah, Disney. You can't even. You're
not going anywhere else. When you go to Universal Studios, you're not going anywhere else.
Yeah, you don't get to see it.
When I was down in Florida, I went to a TNA taping, and they were just handing tickets out at the park. Just give them away.
At Universal, though.
Yeah.
You were at Universal, though.
Yeah.
But if you had to go to some arena, would you tell the kids, all right, we're not going to Disney World today. We're going to go to this wrestling show?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. You're not going to get people to do. I mean, look, it's great if you are if these were the indies and it was territories again. Great idea, and it worked back then. I mean, it worked in the 80s and it worked in the 70s and 80s, right?
Yeah.
But those days are over, and that will never come back the way it was.
I think it was a conglomerate like the WWE is. It has a chance. They're a worldwide entity. TNA
I believe right now the way that they look at it, Pelly, I believe the NXT Performance Center is sort of like that now. Wrestling families or people who they go to the NXT Performance Center, they tour the facility, and you get to watch NXT. Their developmental product that brings the superstars of tomorrow. I would agree. I think that's the thing right now that the WWE has already built. Personally, myself, and I understand they're a multi-million-dollar corporation, and wouldn't it be screwy one night to tune in on a Monday and all of a sudden see them in a 5,000-seat packed TV studio instead of them in an arena from, say, Poughkeepsie, Iowa, that is 17,500 seats. I get you. I get what you're talking about. I guess it's more or less nowadays looking at the fact of these empty arenas of money being lost. That's all.
That's what I don't like. I agree with you there, Rumble. That's what I don't like.
That's all. I just get sick and tired of these empty arena crap, and
So I want to point out the picture that was put up that showed Hangman Page. People need to understand, if you look a little deeper into that picture, There's nobody in the ring. I personally think that picture was taken before the show started because there's nobody in the ring. There's no referee. There's no ring announcer. There's nothing. Look around the picture. And when you look at Rampage that night, they pan the audience. There's way more people in that audience. I don't believe that picture was taken when they were introducing Adam Hangman Page. I think that picture was taken when they were doing graphics up on the screen. Because you've been to WWE shows and they put the graphics up on the screen before the show starts and you see this. You have an empty house.
All you got to do is watch Dynamite and see it for yourself. There was, I'm sure it wasn't full, but like there was a crowd there. There was still a crowd there.
Well, I can tell you that the AEW is coming to Connecticut in less than a month, about 10 minutes from my house, and I got a buddy of mine that works at Webster Bank Arena, and that's a 10,000 seat venue, and he said that tickets right now are very limited, and the cheapest one you can get is like $100.
Yeah,
that's good.
So again, I think that picture was a little misleading. If I saw a referee and the ring announcer and the opponent in the ring, yes, but look at the picture again. There's nothing there.
The only thing that made me think it was real was seeing the black curtain up in the balconies.
Oh, yeah, but that's blocked off.
Yep, that's all. I'm going to agree. I didn't see nobody out there. I just saw lights spinning like this in the graphic up.
They could have been doing sound check on the lights.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly what they do all the time.
Go ahead. I saw Dynamite in October. It was a good 6,000-7,000 there.
And WWE always did that. When you go to the house shows where the hard cam is, on a Raw show, TV, there's the area that's topped off because that's where the hard cams are.
But like I said, when they did the Rampage tape and people cleared out, they cleared the hell out of there. It was down to about maybe 1,000. Like
nobody wants to sit that long for a wrestling show.
Chelsea Green looks like Britt Baker so bad.
I think the issue Rampage is having is I think it's a rush product, and I think they made a mistake. They should have just left it to one show right now. You had the AEW Dark, which was kind of like the internet-based show, which was great. The Rampage thing is ridiculous. What they should do is just turn Dynamite into a 3-hour show if that's what they want to do and get off of Fridays because it's a waste, to be honest.
I was under the impression it was going to be another 2-hour live show, like in a good time slot, but it's in a bad time slot too.
I think it reminds me of WCW Thunder right now.
Yeah, well, WCW Thunder had a better time spot.
Yeah. Time slot's really bad.
I think 10 o'clock on a Friday night's horrendous.
Lita out on SmackDown.
Yeah.
What?
Lita's walking out on SmackDown right now.
Lita, yeah.
I'm watching the GCW pay-per-view.
How'd she look, Vin?
Awesome.
I guarantee not as hot as Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green's flaps are just in between the spandex. Her lips are talking to you.
Come on, clean it up, host.
You can clean it up with your Kleenex.
My God, I'll tell you right now. She don't look that good. She got fucking more rolls than fucking Pillsbury.
Oh, Lita?
No, she doesn't. Shut up.
Don't look that bad, dude.
I'm on it right now.
She got a couple of rolls there, buddy.
Yeah, but she don't have more than Pillsbury.
She looks all right.
She looks old.
She's not that old. She really isn't.
She's late 40s.
She's younger than us.
Forbes.
The Botox hasn't done nothing for her.
Matt Cardone is a lucky man.
Hey, I'd still hit it.
Fingers.
All day and twice on Saturdays. I'd hit it with Mike's dick.
Hey!
Hey, JP, what's up, buddy?
Read this yet?
When the eyes open, the warfare begins. It's a good book.
So, what are we thinking here, boys?
I think that Wardlow's power bombing CM Punk into a roll up is garbage. Wardlow's
All right.
power bomb is now
So-
junk.
We have a TNA in the Impact Knockouts champion in the Women's Royal Rumble. We've had a week to think about it. Are we gonna get a surprise on the men's side? And if so, who?
I think you're gonna get more than one surprise.
When I say surprise, I don't mean returning superstar. I mean somebody signed with another company.
I think you get more than one.
What do you think? Who do you think?
I think you get one.
I think it's
you get
Moose.
Two. I think you get two. Yeah, one from TNA and one from AEW.
You think someone from AEW is going to show? And if so, who do you think AEW sent?
Jericho. It's
Jericho.
It would only be
now
Jericho.
earlier before you came on, I put out that, what if it's Moxley?
I like that.
Who?
What if it's Moxley?
Oh, Moxley. Yeah, that would be fucking sweet too.
Buddy, the roof would come off.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's back. He's back January 23rd for GCW. He's facing Homicide.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who it won't be, and I'm gonna debunk something for you. And I'm sorry, Forbesy.
I know it's fan made. I know it's fan made. I know
those videos that are up.
It's fan made.
Fan made.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Forbesy, I talked about my conspiracy theory on that.
Sure.
I'll share it with you. Hold on, Capelli. Hold on. I'll share it with you.
I don't think it's fan made at all, to be honest with you.
All right, here we go.
It is. I'll show it. I'll tell you after. Go ahead, Jay.
All right. Hear me out. Now, we all know we don't get kayfabe in pro wrestling no more. You can't tell nobody anything, okay? And what brings me to this is just simply put, the night the Hardys were going to come to the WWE, that had to be hidden from everybody except for Shane, Stephanie, Vince, and Hunter. Those guys had to be snuck into the building because they were so afraid of any backstage person or one of the boys blowing the kayfabe. Now, with this being said, the likeliness and image of The Fiend is owned by the WWE. First and foremost, if those videos make it to Vince McMahon's office, the first video would have been pulled down because it's just like copywritten music, okay? I believe, this is just me, I believe it's being made to look like a Mark made it with really good equipment. Because let's face it, editing equipment, I had the power to have professional editing equipment. It was just, could I get a professional to edit it? What if it's made to look, okay, to the average wrestling fan and not a smart person like you that's going to and needle through the whole haystack to find that needle, okay? What if it's legitimately somebody disguised as a regular person, but it really is somebody from the WWE office putting that stuff out?
We all agree it's top notch.
It's top notch stuff, buddy. And I'm just telling you, it would. If it's copywritten stuff, YouTube pulls it down.
Not necessarily, because plenty of people put up content. Like, I could put up a content right now of a video of a movie. I can put up content, Easter eggs for the Eternals movie, and it won't get torn down.
Which
as
is
long
the
as
shit,
it
by the
says,
way.
I do not own this. This video footage was taken from blah blah blah, and it is owned and copywritten by blah 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 blah.
Well, none of that's distinguishing anything.
Exactly.
And if it was, and to me, if I was a guy from Vince's head office, I would get in touch with YouTube, and I wouldn't want Bray Wyatt utilizing my footage to get himself a brand new job.
And to prove that point,
now let me explain. So there are been videos being going on for a while. There's multiple videos, And when you read down in the comments, the person who created it said, I had a phenomenal time creating this one. I really appreciate everyone. And he says, my hope is, in one of the comments, he even says, I'm making this stuff because I know Bray eventually will see it and watch it.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, and then one of the other ones that I watched, they have an actor that when you get into it, it's supposed to be Bray Wyatt, and it's some random guy that they're trying to say is Bray Wyatt, and it's not Bray Wyatt. So it's you see Bray, all the footage, all the words you hear him saying, it's all stuff that this kid. I mean, this kid's phenomenal at what he does, or what the guy that edited, but it's all stuff from when he spoke as Bray, when he spoke as the Eater Worlds. It's not legit. It is fan made. I hate to say it. I'm gonna play devil's advocate on it. It is absolutely 100% fan made. I love it. It's generating buzz, but it ain't for the WWE.
But you can see that if where he can't come back as the Fiend. Let's say he goes to AEW, you see a different mask on there. He could portray a character just like that.
Yeah, but he wouldn't be able to show the Fiend, Mike.
Oh no! But what I'm saying is he could create another.
If he wore that mask, that it reminds me of the mask that I don't know if any of you guys watch Teen Titans, from the HBO Max, but it reminds me of what the Scarecrow guy wears.
Yep.
With the X's, and it looks like
some kind of facial gear because he's really losing his hair.
Yeah.
Now, to prove to your point, Jason, we were talking about copyright images. Now, King Kenny Bolin, who had ties with the WWE, had a video up on his show, just a small little clip where it mentioned WWE, and YouTube pulled it down immediately. And that was just a small little thing. That wasn't a whole series of footage with WWE footage.
But then you go on the Wrestling News or you go on Wrestle Talk, and they have images and promos and everything on there, and still pictures, and that stuff's up there, and that's all YouTube content that doesn't get pulled down, and it's not owned by Vince or AEW. So, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it all depends on how the content is created and the verbiage that is put after it, because what Mickey's saying, right? Mickey can. If you put up something and you try to take credit for it, then you're fucked. But if you put up something and again, I'd have to get deeper in, and you simply say, like this footage, this footage is only copyrighted by the WWE. I am not making a profit off of this or nothing. Yep. You can't profit off of it either. If you're a profiting website, you can't put it up.
It's all in how it's articulated.
You're just making it for content. Yep. There's different rules that go into that.
I get it. Listen, I said it, 2-3 weeks ago. Right now is the most interesting time in pro wrestling, whether it's WWE or AEW. The road to WrestleMania is like a highway now, and there's many entrances and exits. And sorry, those roads are leading with those are now exits and entrance to AEW, TNA, and whatever other proverbial door that quite possibly can be open on this road. This is a great venture. This right now is a great time to be a wrestling fan. Who is playing that stupid voice?
That'd be me.
Hey, well, let's all enjoy it before they're sold.
Yep.
2 years. You think sooner?
It's not. Listen. You own a multi-billion-dollar company.
Such a clown.
I don't think they'll. And I think me and Capelli touched upon this. I believe the only sale of the company you're going to see is a Dana White style buyout, whereas the company gives you all this money, but you're still the man at the top. I can see Fox doing it. And then the dark horse out of everything is hopefully, I don't see this NBC relationship coming to an end, but I would love to see ESPN hop into this.
ESPN would fucking kill it, man. They're killing hockey. Fucking broadcast is terrible. You're right. NBC will never, because Vince has been in bed with NBC. Since we since we
was kids.
Since we were kids. Fox, yeah. I think what you might see, if anything, I could see. It's gonna sound fucking crazy, but I could see some form of WWE programming that is very kid friendly going to Disney, because Disney owns Fox.
So, along with ESPN as part of that company.
Yeah, I just ESPN. Can you imagine now fucking having fucking what's his face fucking Chris Berman. He slam down. Like, shut the fuck up.
ESPN and Disney are all owned by the same thing. Fox's media conglomerate, meaning Fox Sports, is an entity of Disney. Just like ESPN. That's why ESPN, Disney Plus, and Hulu sell their package together.
I know.
If Disney bought it out, could you see your little? You guys disagree with it, but maybe that little arena that Rumble's talking about.
No, Disney? But I could see a legit Hall of Fame go to Disney World.
Yeah. Something.
I could see a roller coaster called the Hulk Hogan Rock and Roller Coaster World Adventure, where you go up and it's the scene from the cartoon that we watched as kids.
Or the Firefly Funhouse comes to life.
Forbesy would be there all day. He'd be fucking living on the thing. Forbesy would be the fucking buzzard. Look at him. He looks like the buzzard.
He does.
I personally think in the next 5 years, I agree. I think a physical Hall of Fame will be built, but it will not be in Florida. I think it'll be in Connecticut, because that's where the headquarters are. No,
please, I hope not.
Listen.
Put it in Connecticut.
I think that would be a waste. You know
why? The building that they're building right now, I don't.
If anything, it should be connected right now. They should have a monument museum that's connected to the Performance Center.
Yes,
I agree. But history-wise, it is a company that has been based out of Stamford, Connecticut. I can see them saying where to put it. Because again, look at where some of the other Hall of Fames are. You got
Cleveland.
The Springfield, basketball. I mean, Cooperstown. It has such a fucking rich history to baseball. Springfield has such a rich history to fucking Mike King and basketball.
But unless they're gonna put it in their new building that they're building, I don't see it happening.
I honestly believe that the WWE, before it's all said and done, the headquarters will move to Florida.
I would think New York before Florida, but you could be right. I would say New York.
But the taxes, what it is to build, everybody likes it because it's warmer there, and I'm sorry, but they already have.
And they're all moving there too.
Yes.
I mean, I agree. I can see it happening.
That's all. I just think Connecticut's old news. I think if you were to ask a kid that is 25 and younger that's been watching WWE, say for the past 10 years, if you ask them, where's the head of the WWE, they would go, at the Performance Center in Florida. There's more business, guaranteed. There's more day-to-day business nowadays done in the Performance Center offices than at the legit headquarters. That's one of the reasons why he sold the headquarters building and he downsized to the new building they're at now.
Yep.
Yeah, well, you got to think, too. The Performance Center is handling the wrestling aspect.
It does.
The headquarters handles more the merchandise, the television, and all that shit.
I think it should all go to Florida tax-wise. I guarantee it's better. I bet you Vince is so smooth right now. He's got tax guys making probably 75% of the business that goes out of Connecticut, making it look like it goes out of Florida.
Come in.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't.
Again,
I hope nobody in the U.S. government is watching that has to deal with tax fraud, because I might have just fucked things up for Vince. The Capelli's getting on there. WWE's taxing.
No. I'm sorry. No.
But yeah, I think that's just opinions are like assholes, and everybody got one. My opinion is that the WWE, within 5 years, the whole shebang will be in Florida. There'll be a legit Hall of Fame, and I think the WWE isn't going to sell 100%, but I believe you will see a type of a sale that Dana White did with who bought out UFC.
They already have a WWE ride at Disney.
Oh,
Space
they do?
Mountain, Ric Flair. Space Mountain, Ric Flair.
That's been WWE culture canceled.
Yeah, by a flight attendant.
Who's to say that WWE doesn't move everything to Florida, like Jay's saying, and make their own amusement park down there?
I just think I do. I told Mike this. I think me and Mike discussed this one time ago. Mike, I think the perfect thing is for Disney would be for Disney to buy into it.
Yeah.
If you think of it, they bought everything from our childhood.
Yep.
Who would have ever thought that Star Wars would take over Disney World now?
And Marvel.
Huge. Yes.
Marvel.
So I don't see how you can't tell me that the staple of our childhood, Saturday morning wrestling, Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling, that cartoon-based characters they make perfect amusement park. The Undertaker's Mountain with the Undertaker's, I see it. I envision that. I think that's one of the main reasons why, too, Forbes, it's became PG-3. You know what I mean? Is because they don't want to lose that steam. Because what if the board is always saying, we're getting close, you know? And maybe that's one of the reasons why they decide not to change what they're doing. Or to go back into the kid-oriented type angles. For the ultimate bang and buck. It's all about the merchandise, baby. You know?
I find, like, storyline-wise anyways, like, WWE storylines are a lot more easier to follow. And I think that appeals to the kids more. Because the storylines are easier to follow. It's true, Mike. What are you laughing at?
I'm just laughing because it is true.
Not like they
Not laughing at you, Pelly. Don't get smart. I'll drive up to Canada and slap you. Don't get smart.
It's true.
It's not like they can do a Katie Vick storyline.
That's why families and kids are oriented to it, because they're easier to follow.
Yeah. That it is. That it is for sure. Newest ride. I love you, Richard.
Sources Scrambler.
Oh, Richard, we're gonna have to pull you on one week and make you part of the clown brigade, as we'll call it here. We're all part of the big top. Boing, boing, doing, doing.
Who was it that walked with an elephant in my wedding? Was it you or Capelli?
I know. The Snaggletooth was my
Yeah, no.
It was you because we were going to throw peanuts behind. You were going to throw peanuts behind him.
Yeah, I was with the young girl that you guys gave
Oh, hey,
me.
guys, there's a new video that just posted for Wyndham 2022, Followers of Darkness. It posted 12 minutes ago.
Okay.
Who what?
Send the link,
Sorry,
Ricky.
I apologize, buddy.
It was me, Jay.
You, Jay, my friend Willie that I used to live next door to, my best man Billy, And her cousin Richie.
Who had Snaggletooth?
Jay did.
No, I had that. There was a young girl that you guys
Oh
had.
yeah. No, then you had Snaggletooth.
Yep. She tried, like, Carla was all around the whole time because she was trying
Yeah,
to.
then I think I had.
She was trying to snake me in.
I had Snaggletooth.
That girl was trying to get me into one of the changing rooms. And Carla kept on coming around like, yo, calm down, girl. What a great time.
And then you got Wagner Brown showing up in a tux.
In a tux. Dressed better than your grooms, just better than your ushers. So, all right, fellas. Tonight was the night. I'm sitting with and watching a bunch of football Saturday and Sunday, and I'm going to enjoy the rest of this pay-per-view. Right now, they're showing Matt Cardona because they must have went to an intermission, so they got part of the Matt Cardona podcast up. And
how much are the Patriots going to lose by tomorrow?
Fuck you.
17-4. Hey,
you fucking
Forbesy.
cat.
Yeah, like, come on, man.
Matt Jones has got a friggin' noodle arm, dude.
I know he does, but
you got a noodle brain, but I still like you.
Yeah, exactly. You're built like a noodle, but we love you.
I didn't say I didn't think he was a nice kid.
Hey,
He'll be a
I got a
serviceable
question
backup
for you.
in about 2 years.
17-14.
Forbesy, do you have a source of who you think is gonna win?
I do, and you'll see. You'll see on Gorilla. My source has been popping up.
Just don't say the word.
I'm gonna say Bills 19, Patriots 10.
19-10. What the fuck kind of score is that?
A bunch of field goals with one touchdown.
And it's not gonna be by Mac because he's got no goddamn receivers.
20-17 Patriots.
They're in Buffalo tomorrow, aren't they?
Yes, and they're expecting really bad weather, which makes it good for the run game and bad for a passing game, which fits to whose strengths? The Patriots.
There's always at least one or two upsets.
Yes,
Are the
and
Chiefs
you're gonna
playing?
and the Patriots are the ones to pull the upset tomorrow.
I'm gonna tell you who
Steelers
the
over
upset
the
is. You
Chiefs
ready
tomorrow.
for this one? The Tampa Bay Bucks lose tomorrow.
I said
I
that.
agree.
I said
agree.
that to somebody, and then they said no, they won't because playoff Brady is like playoff Rondo. He's money,
Yeah,
and
well,
Brady does come
playing with
alive.
Brady with
What if
fucking
Brady
without
and
Brady.
Gronk just make it a one-man show? Fournette
I
comes
don't
back
think so.
tomorrow.
Not this time, buddy. Not this time.
Are the Steelers playing the Chiefs?
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
they're playing the Bengals.
No.
Bengals got the
play the
Raiders.
Steelers.
No,
and
that was
Chiefs.
last week.
Nope. Bengals play
Steelers
the
and
Raiders.
Chiefs.
I'm calling
Steelers,
the Steelers
Chiefs.
over the Chiefs right now.
No
Steelers
way.
over the Chiefs.
I hope so, but that ain't happening. But I
Me
love
too.
you.
It ain't gonna happen though.
Yeah, it's
Let
nice to
Mickey
see.
back
Be
in.
nice to see Roethlisberger get a little run into the playoffs.
Jay, let Mickey back in.
Okay.
Who?
Biggs.
I got it.
Yeah,
I
I'm
just.
splitting. I'm going to put you back on in the car.
It's all right. We're gonna tune out in about 5 minutes, a couple of minutes here.
All right,
I
everybody.
hear the clown music.
The doink?
Yep.
Who's playing
That's a
that?
good
Mike?
rendition. Why does that look
I was.
familiar?
No, it wasn't
It's
me.
Doink the Clown.
I should have, though.
Doink the Clown.
Well, yeah. Tomorrow's playoffs, Sunday's playoffs. Everything ought to be
Bruins
interesting.
tomorrow.
Well, the Bruins didn't play tonight. Oh no, they played last night. That's right.
They played back to back.
Yeah,
played well.
They played
bro. Tuca got a huge pop.
W.
Boy from Nova Scotia, Marshall, had a hat trick.
Yeah.
No, Pasternak had the hat trick,
The
and
night before,
Oh,
Marshall
the
had a
night
hat trick.
before. Yep. Marshy.
So what do you think of Tuca coming back, Capelli?
What's that?
What do you think of Tuca coming back?
Listen, look, I'm all for Swayman. I love him, but he's young, and you don't want to do what they remember. Dude, you guys remember Andrew Raycroft, right?
Yeah.
Blaine Locke, that's who I think of.
I think of Andrew Raycroft. Locke was ready. Locke just fell off.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He was ready, but he fell off. I didn't think anything was wrong with Swayman. You got a shitbag defense.
You got a goalie who is, his numbers, I get it, and trust me, I have more than one time said, get rid of this fucking guy. But he's exactly what the Bruins need right now. He is a rock in the net. He's a seasoned vet. He's a top 10 goalie now. First game back, he's still a top 10 goalie.
But he can't win the playoffs.
He has led them to 2 Stanley Cups, and in 2019, it wasn't his fault that they lost. It's he's the reason why they got to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals, that I went to the fucking Boston Garden and watched them fucking lose. But anyways, I like the move. I think it gives Swayman another year or two to develop, and it gives the Bruins that reliable goaltender in net. And it also helps Ullmark grow.
I think the best thing that happened was listening to the guys out of the locker room loving the fact that Tuch was back. And that, to me, says that locker room felt uncomfortable without having Tuch in net.
You're putting too much on. You know what? If they had the defense they had in 2011, I'd have no problem with Jeremy Swayman and not letting me sign Tuch. But the problem is their defense is one of their weakest spots right now is defense. You legitimately have one number one.
Their weakest spot right now to defense and three and
one true number two.
Yes.
And then you have a couple of 2-3 Ds, and they're hurting. So
they need a center for Hall.
No, they don't need a center for Hall. You do not need a center for Hall. The kid Haller is the center for Hall. Trust me when I tell you that kid he's a number 2 center. He's a phenomenal hockey player. He has some of the sweetest hands. The smart right now, what Hall needed, he has. David Pastrnak. You now have Bergeron and Marshy on line 1 with a solid right winger in Craig Smith. Now you have a solid number 2 line with Hall and Pasta with a good true number 2 center.
Okay.
The best move the Bruins have made, and I'm going to tell you right now, that plus the kid Oscar Steen. Mark my words, watch this kid.
Was he the defensive guy that they were talking about today on Felger and Maz?
I didn't listen to Felger and Maz today, but Steen is the kid. He's been playing on the 3rd line. He wears number 62.
Okay. Yeah.
He is just, it's like watching a lightning rod sometimes. And he hits like a motherfucker. And he's got phenomenal defensive skills. He reminds me of a young Marchand.
Okay. You gotta answer this one question. Was Jake DeBrusk ever one of your favorite players because he has a cool name?
No. Nope.
I can picture you saying DeBrusk.
No. I mean, I liked him, but he's the next PJ Axelson. He's so streaky as a player. He's just streaky. And, he's just, I don't know. If they traded him, I'd be okay with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
They really killed themselves in that draft, but this ain't NHL hockey talk. This is wrestling talk.
This is true.
All right, boys. I think we've had a good little show here tonight. We covered some good things. We talked about what we're looking for, and my wife will be spending time this weekend to get Spotify all done and ready for us, so I can start uploading my my programs right to Spotify. There's some just computer stuff that once you sign up for it, I don't get what they're asking you to do. Like that part of technological stuff isn't me. Like if it wasn't for my wife's the one that figured out how to line the StreamYard up with everything else, so I'd have a successful roving studio. So,
Cool.
Yep. So we'll be able to.
That's why
right
we always
here,
had Pat Doyle behind the scenes.
$12.99 Amazon Books.
Yeah.
Capelli talks about Oak Island here in this book.
I'll put it right here. Right here. It's gonna go right here. I'm gonna download.
You got Kindle on that?
Of course I do.
All right.
Easiest way to read a book.
All right, fellas. Well, it's been a great week. Monday night, be on the lookout for my one-on-one Being Humble with Jason Rumble interview. It'll be featured with Gorilla Position group member, Mr. Michael Bote, who just started his own podcast, Wrestling with Weight. And he happens to be, which I never knew, a good friend of ours. He has a close friend that's in with us in the wrestling community, Mr. Sam Amato. So he's a Everett resident. I look forward to talking to Michael and getting to know a little bit about him and what drew him to professional wrestling. So, and then next week, depending on if the Patriots make it, what day they make, we'll either go live on Friday or on Saturday.
Are we going live tomorrow night too?
No, Patriots are on, buddy. That's why I went live tonight. So, all right, everyone. To all the fans out there in Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, we thank you very much. And we're coming soon to Spotify and hoping everything grows from there. And, people would start taking the episodes from YouTube, hitting share, and putting them on their own personal Facebooks for more spread. That would also be nice because it is shareable from YouTube. So if you're proud of what you're doing and you want people to know, then from there, after you share it once or twice, you ask them to join the YouTube channel, and they're able to watch it. So, any parting words, boys?
Speaking of sharing, I shared the newest video, Bray Wyatt video, in our group chat.
Awesome.
All I'm going to say is the new name of Voldemort from Harry Potter. He who shall not be named, Michael's LeSean. He's the new Voldemort. Nothing. Go Pats.
Go shine your head, would you?
Dye your fucking beard.
I don't. Asshole. Next time you come on this program, wear a hat, because I'm sick of the glare coming off that dome.
Capelli, you're going to have to go over to the house, ask to go to the bathroom.
And find it.
And find it.
Like we found your Rogaine.
Solar powered, baby. Solar.
There you go. Exactly. I'm with you. Solar powered.
Solar, baby.
I got you.
Remember that? Remember we found the Rogaine in his bathroom?
Didn't have to find it. It was right there.
What are you guys doing? Don't touch my Rogaine. I don't want to go bald.
Hey, listen. If it was happening to me, I would have shaved it all off too, boys.
I did a long time ago.
I'd do the same. I would do the same thing. Same thing. All right, wrestling fans. We'll see you next week, either Friday or Saturday. Be on the lookout. And want you all to have a great weekend. Have a good night.